You're listening to the Unreasonable Fridays Podcast Network.
Go ahead, stand up, stand up, stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of AddSpace. I'm your host, Aaron Rand Freeman, but with me, the actual host, the owner-proprietor, the CEO, CFO, lead art designer, head therapist, head of payroll, travel czar, and belated birthday even though it's a Leo, it's not really belated.
It's still my birthday.
It's still Bacon's.
I apologize for that. There's a person that occasionally decides to go back and forth, up and down the street, multiple times a day. It's the same vehicle, and I kind of want to hit them over the head.
Happy birthday, Bacon, for one. And I find it the strangest car person is the person who tears up a residential neighborhood with their power car. It
wouldn't bother me so much but it's multiple times a day. Like, what are you doing? Where are you going? Where do you even have to go that many times?
It's because they don't have anywhere to go. It is probably one of the sneaky good things about living in Texas is it's so wide that the big dick loud engine car people just pick a direction and go, and you don't see them a bunch of times. Like when I was in New York, you did catch the people who were just throwing their cars around the neighborhood because they had nowhere to go. And I was in Oakland, same business. They had nowhere to go. But in Texas, it's so wide, you will hear them once, and then they will come back 4 hours later, I assume with tacos or something. And otherwise, yes, them going and buzzing your block over and over again, it annoys me. It annoys me more than you. I despise it. I'm not going to call the cops. I'm not that annoyed, but I certainly would love to ask questions.
Lie, I'm kind of that annoyed.
I mean, I don't blame you. That's just it's
every time when I'm like recording or trying to do something like important and it's so loud and I can hear it through my monitoring headphones and I'm like my mic doesn't pick up all of the stuff in the background, but it fucking picks up that asshole.
Yeah.
It is during my birthday even.
I mean, your birthday is like 90 days.
I said what I said.
We also have with us the freest man in podcasting. No one has chosen to be with us of their own volition as many times as Justin. Justin, how are you?
You button?
See, the reason why they keep dashing up and down is they're just celebrating Bacon's birthday. They want the entire block to know it is Bacon's birthday, so they're going to be as loud and obnoxious as they can to celebrate.
You know what would be a really loud and obnoxious way to celebrate my birthday throughout the neighborhood is have the neighborhood give me money.
I think that is the more loud and obnoxious way to celebrate Bacon's birthday. So if you would like to donate to the Bacon Birthday Fund, we will include all of that information in the description for this episode.
Yeah. You gotta pay. Help Bacon out. I mean, why not? You have 147 days to sort it out.
Exactly.
Leo's birthdays start, I think, a little bit like in the middle of Cancer season, and then they end in the middle of Virgo season, if my dates are correct.
Right. So you have several calendar days to get this sorted out.
There you go. But what have I don't know. I don't want to ask how old you are because it's not anybody's business, and you don't. We're black. I kind of like that air of mystery, like we're just in that schmaz, that 35 to 55 schmaz, where everyone goes, "Oh, really?" And so
no,
yeah,
for real though.
Yeah, it's listen. I was a kid, like I'm a child. I've always been a fan of ladies of a certain age, even when I was not. So, so having spent a significant amount of my life being told to shoo Now that I've entered the schmaz, I'm now 40 as of May. I've entered the schmaz. I'm now viable from everyone from 35 to 60. And when they're all black, they all look like they're 35. So it's fucking phenomenal. And I waited a long time to get here. And woo! Woo! Let me tell you, boy, that was worth it.
You are literally everybody's age group.
Everybody's age group. Finally. Because when I was 23, I was fucking not. I was asking. I was getting denied, folks. Rest assured, I was getting denied.
But it was funny. So I have, for my classes, I have a lovely black woman who is runs my independent study class, and she asked me how old I was for my birthday, and I'm like, I am 37, and she was like, she had that moment. And she's like, I thought you were 28. And I'm like, one, thank you for saying that. Because I was just like, I feel like the chronic pain aged my face a little bit. I wasn't exactly happy also with like the changes to my face that testosterone did. So I was just like, who? Okay, 28. And she's like, but we're black. We don't age.
Yeah.
And she's like, guess how old I am? And I went, ma'am, I am not. I don't normally guess people's ages, but I especially don't guess black people's ages because they could be anything. And she's like, I am 60. And I was like, oh, because if a number had popped into my head, it wouldn't have been 60.
I think.
And she told me that she's been swatting the youth. And I thought about you, Aaron, and I thought about the people like my homies who are also like you.
Yeah, buddy. I'm just saying, it's all good now. Finally, I went to one of Erica's boys' functions. He works for like a nonprofit with like the high school students and stuff. And one of they had this exhibit, and I walked up to one of some girl had drawn some comic about like a Brazilian artist or whatever, and I was asking her questions, and she made a comment about my shirt, and I realized I was joking around with her, and I was like, wait, I think she's flirting with me. She doesn't. No, I'm daddy, and like, no, I'm not, because I realized that now, and they were sitting there, and yeah, and I was just like, oh, you don't. Oh, you're where I was. That's a shame. Oh, I see. Yeah. You're way on the outside of the bubble. Oh, she's like 22 and she didn't know. If she had known I was old, she wouldn't have bothered, but she didn't know because I'm black and nobody knows. And I was like, oh.
I have had to turn down some of these where I'm just like, honey, you are completely out of my age range.
Right. Which I'll freely admit. When the older I get, the more I judge the older black men who are okay with it, because I'm like looking and I'm like, I really just want you to save your money and eat 3 meals a day. Like, I don't know where the desire to have any type of, because the thing about young people is that they are young when they open their mouth. So I'm like, it's not.
There's so much youth coming off of you.
It's just so young. They're so undercooked. They are so young. So young.
Like, they are
undercooked is the word. Undercooked is the word.
It is. They are proper adults. However,
right.
I'm like, I need you need to be in the oven more. You need more seasoning and like worldview and opinions.
Yeah.
Like your opinions need to be seasoned a little bit more. We're still on regurgitation.
Yeah. It's like at some point the ceiling is charming and the response is, I really hope you're eating. Like, I hope you're eating. I hope you're well. You deserve the best things. The young people deserve the best things. And like I said, the older I get, the more I hear old niggas say some things, and I'm just like, you should go to jail. Like, when I was younger, I was like, that's weird. Now that I'm 40, you should go to jail. I am going to call local law enforcement and be there. Make eye contact while they take you away. No, it was me. I did it. because this ain't cool. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. I'm judging now and calling the authorities. Not anonymously. Not anonymously. Full name. But
I want you to know it was me. I want you to understand that I am the one that took you away.
I object to that degree. It is questionable and distasteful to such a degree. I will sign my name to the opinion and the outcome. But we do have an actual program. Actual things are actually happening. But where do we start? Throw it at me. Somebody throw something at me.
You
I
had
feel
a
like the way to start. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I still like feel like because we had a little pre-show talk, and
Yeah.
I still feel like that little pre-show talk is a viable conversation.
About which was we were chatting and I was like cycling through tabs. So there were like several things. We talk a lot of shit in general, like off air
Nice,
on
right.
it. We do talk a lot of shit. So you're gonna have to like put a pin in something.
It
Put,
was
Well,
what
go ahead.
makes you happy.
oh
Yeah, I like that actually.
What games
That is a
make you
great
happy?
way to start the show.
Okay, so that is a legitimate. The backstory is that I am working on the mental health of my Destiny 2 clan, and the first thing that I've spent months hammering into their heads is that you do not have to play the game when you do not want to. There's a point in every season where it is not for you. It is for the people who started late, and it is for the people with full-time jobs. That is the extra 60 days are for those people. You don't need to be here if you do not want to be here. It is healthier than you to hover and to complain. Find another game to play. Go outside. Pick up a hobby. Go to the gym. Rob a liquor store. Whatever it is that helps you get your balance, you should do it. And after a year, now in this current season of Destiny, no one from my clan that plays regularly is on. Everyone has fucked all the way off. And it kind of, now I'm like, I was asking Bacon, I was like, well, should I step into the next stage of development, which is what games is playing games that make you happy? Like, not just not playing a game that you don't want to play. That's 101. But 201, 221 is what games make you happy and how do you locate them? So I was asking Bacon. I asked Bacon. I was like, what game makes you happy? And I was going to ask everybody. I'm going to start canvassing everybody I know that plays video games with this question.
Yeah, I had to take a minute because like I had to take a minute to think because one, I play so many fucking games and I play them like all differently at different times. So I was just like, I know when I'm feeling depressy, like Boyfriend Dungeon always makes me happy, like or at least like fulfills whatever need I need when I'm like depressed. So that's a good game. It's got the whole like dating thing. It's got dungeon crawling. It's grindy. There's cute outfits. There's also whole like things about like interpersonal relationships, which is like my new thing right now, and on how to manage whatever neurodivergent issues that you have. And so I was just like, that's a really good game. And then even though Aaron was just like not just like a good game with a good story, but like games like Octopath 2, like Octopath and Octopath 2, when I picked them, I love them.
That's funny thing about that is that visibly shows in your streams. Because I remember we were playing, there are some games you were playing. There's one game you were playing, the Astria Ascending game, where everyone was a dick to each other, where you were actively growing in disdain over time. And then it kind of like was tangible and everyone was kind of like, you were vibing, but we were like, oh, Bacon don't like this game. And then we stopped playing it. But Octopath, you're actively so pleased with it that it draws people in and then people just become invested in the story just off the strength of how happy you are playing that game.
That game the music alone in that game made me cry. Like there's some story beats and like, it's classic like JRPG. So like, even though like there's a story, but the story's like simplified sort kind of, so it's kind of like there's a lot of like important things that are happening and there's like messaging, but it's still like it's still not very long and it is still like kind of simplified, but like you pair it to the music and like what's going on with the characters. I was just like, I'm just like an emotional mess right here. Like there's like the conclusion of pretty much all of their stories gave me goosebumps. I was just like, what is happening? What am I even experiencing? And then even just like going out into the water, I was like, because you can like purchase a pirate ship, or not a pirate ship, but you can purchase a giant ship and then like go out in the water and fight monsters. But like when you go out there, the music is sea shanties. The combat music is basically a sea shanty. And you're fighting, and like one of those secret bosses is a giant shark. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? It's great. You can capture the giant shark, Aaron. You can capture it as a monster and use it on enemies.
So you can throw a shark at you can produce a giant shark.
You can throw a shark at somebody.
You can like throw a shark at like a bandit, right? Because like if I'm a bandit dude and one of my bandit dudes gets swallowed up by a shark,
you can use it once per fight. You remember that giant shark that I fought and I was terrified?
Yes.
That shark.
Mm.
So after you defeat that shark, it'll show up randomly in the water and you can fight it and capture it.
Mm.
And any monsters that you capture, you can either turn into food, because our girl Ochette is all about homemade jerky, or you can't be mad at Ochette. Ochette's hilarious. Or you can throw that monster at other creatures or enemies.
I'm with it.
Also, there's also a haunted house in there that I had just discovered the last time I played, and when you walk in, there's no music.
Oh god. The worst thing about haunted houses is like if there's no music, it makes me think of the Mario World haunted music.
But Aaron, there wasn't even combat music.
Ooh.
It was silent. In a game with dynamic music, it's silent.
It's a little tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. That sets the tone. It's a little tough. I don't know about that.
That's a big old box of nope.
Yep.
I was so concerned. Like I thought my game glitched. Like, and I was like, I even left and like came back, and I was just like, it's just this house.
Seeing you checking your phone and shit. You're like, wait, checking Spotify. You're like, whoa, where's this
what is happening?
Ain't no music, bro.
So you know, stuff like that. Like even though it because I wanted to not fall into the I really like a game with a good story. And like no, I like these specific kinds of games. Like always make my brain go bzz, super happy. And then you mentioned it earlier. You did the Katamari Damacy remaster.
Yeah,
how can you not be happy playing Katamari?
It is my most joyful game by a million. Like the very instant I hear the theme song, I'm ready to do it, and it is the most. I don't know. I brought the question up because I realized the game makes me happy without me. Like I don't have to do anything. It comes on, the theme song comes on, and I'm ready, and I'm just rolling the thing around, and I'm ready. All the dialogue, all the nonsense, every single thing about it I enjoy immensely. And I think that game makes me happier than any other game I could possibly play. And and these that's why I asked, because it kind of happens. It happens without you. You can't have no control over it. So they remastered the second one and I got it on sale this week, and it's just absolutely just perfect, absolute fucking nonsense. And I didn't realize it. I forgot about it. I went to and they had this like classic game fest, like a retro game convention in Austin. And I forgot how much I enjoyed it before I went, because they had these dramatic like Godfather like prints of like the family of like the King of the Cosmos and his wife and the guy you play as. And I was just like, oh, I really should have gotten that on a shirt. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, Justin, you didn't get a chance to answer. I'm curious, what game makes you happy?
So, okay, for me, like there's games, like you said, there's games that you enjoy, but there's certain games that just spark joy. And for me, the Dynasty Warriors series will always spark joy, whether it is mainline Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors, the offshoots like Fire Emblem Dynasty. Fire Emblem Three Hopes? It's just Fire Emblem Dynasty Warriors. Just something about that gameplay loop of level your character, beat up everybody in sight. It's just enjoyable to me as a person. Like I just thoroughly enjoy that. Um, I particularly like the Dynasty Warriors Empire series because that adds more of so like the mainline Dynasty Warriors series does have a story, like it plays along with the Romance of the Three Kingdoms novelization. Um, but the Empire series sort of gives you a little bit more control. Like you start off as just well, you can start off as just a little nobody Ronin vagabond, and then you can either build up your own force and like say, okay, cool, I'm gonna stake my claim, I'm gonna start my own country, or you can be like, no, I want to serve somebody. I feel like this person can use my services. It's like you can play out your own little drama as you're going through the narrative loop, the gameplay loop of go here, beat everybody up, become the strongest there is. It's simple, but it just always sparks joy. It's just great for me. Um, and now is the part of the program where I relate everything back.
To One Piece?
Yes,
Am I guessing
because
right?
yes. So there's actually a One Piece version of Dynasty Warriors, One Piece Pirate Warriors. And the latest entry came out 3 years ago. Came out in 2020. They are releasing a new DLC pack for this to celebrate the worst kept spoiler in all of anime. So usually, I guess this is really just an East-West thing. In the West, we try very hard not to spoil the anime for people that are only watching the anime and not reading the manga, because there's so many things that when you watch, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was happening. In Japan, there's no such thing as someone that only watches the anime. The anime is a hype machine for the manga. So there is something happening for the next episode of One Piece that Toei has they've showed you what it is. They have a trailer announcing what it is. They say, "Hey, watch this thing that's happening on this date," and it's like, "Wow, y'all really don't care, do you? You're just like, imagine if Toei spoiled Super Saiyan before Super Saiyan was a thing. Like they told you on this day, Goku will turn Super Saiyan. Like, just imagine that. That's effectively what they're doing right now. Like, imagine if Toei was like, and Tuxedo Mask is the reincarnation of Usagi's husband. What, they had a trailer for, and this is when they get married. They're getting married today. Imagine that is effectively what they're doing right now. And to celebrate that, they're releasing a DLC pack for a 3-year-old game, and I've never in my life seen anything like this. Like this is bonkers to me. So in the chat, I put also, so the Pirate Warriors games do not care about balance at all. There's no such thing as balance. There's no such thing as fairness.
Wait, I have a question. Does that does that exist in the Dynasty Warriors games?
I was about to say.
Kind of. So 7 and 8, there's kind of a balance, right? Like certain characters are blatantly overpowered, but you always feel like you have a chance with one exception. There's one exception. There's always one exception. It's Lubu at Hulao Gate. You never have a chance against Lubu at Hulao Gate unless you are just that kind of masochist. Pirate Warriors specifically, they throw balance out of the window. And one of my favorite characters, like in One Piece, unabashedly, is Big Mom, Charlotte Linlin, one of the big bads. She is. Imagine if Disney was like Disneyland was evil. Not the corporation Disney, but Disneyland. Imagine if that was evil. That's Big Mom. She is terrifying. She is not she's not the stereotypical anime evil female character. She has a very unique design. Her motivations are basically I want to take over the like she wants to take over the world by making everyone a part of her family. Like it's really sick and twisted when you get down and think about it. Like she wants to be the matriarch of the world. Not because she thinks it's the right thing to do, but because she wants to take over the world. And this is just her way of doing it.
Well,
And like,
go on.
no, go ahead.
No, I'm just looking at the video, and this actually
Yes.
this actually looks fun as hell. I didn't know this was a thing. It looks fun as hell.
Dog, her devil fruit is I can take your soul out and put it in anything.
Ooh.
So what she's done is she takes out people's souls and puts them in like trees and sunflowers, and they all live in Whole Cake Island and they all sing musicals. It is the most twisted thing.
Ooh. Oh, I mean, you mean if Disneyland was evil, like consuming the souls of the living, evil. Oh.
Literal evil. And one of her favorite games to play is Stay or Life. And if you are like, she'll basically say, look, you can either meet my conditions or give me your soul. And the way it works is if you're scared of her at all, she will take your lifespan equal to the amount of how much you fear her.
God.
So yeah, no, Big Mom, just unabashedly, I love Big Mom. I love her as a character. I love her narratively. I love her aesthetically. It's just like, look at her. She's a giant grandma with a talking cloud and a sun, and her sword talks as well. Like, how could you not like this delightfully wacky sociopath?
That's the same question I ask every time I'm presented with a world-ending threat. Is do they support Black lives or not?
Yes, Big Mom actually does support Black lives.
Man, she's cool. She's cool with me.
It is actually a plot point of the series. She supports Black lives.
All right, that's what's up. That's why I ask. That is why I ask every time. You don't know. You get those answers be surprising you. So perfect.
I also like the fact that they also don't do the tradition. So in Shonen specifically, if you have a female presenting antagonist, there's always a way to redeem them, and that is through like the main character, and they're like, oh, I love this main character, or this main character reminds me of my son. No, she's just a bag of evil, and there's no redeeming her whatsoever. Not even an attempt to redeem her. Not even a, look, I understand you had a hard childhood. No, you're just evil and you need to die.
I'm watching her gameplay, and this is the most entertaining shit I've seen in my life.
Right.
Like, you're just wrecking shit. Like, look at all of them. You're just like collecting them up and just being like, let me just smash at everything. La, 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 la.
The thing about it is One Piece has the most. Nothing is more loaded than an invitation to enter the One Piece universe anyway possible. Like, I'm on Crunchyroll, and Crunchyroll has on the just says like One Piece on it, and it just says start watching One Piece, and I'm like, don't you dare try to downplay the enormous undertaking that is to start watching One Piece from episode 0. I've watched 2 episodes of One Piece incidentally in my life, and then Crunchyroll is like, start watching One Piece. Yes.
She just curb stomped some bitches and then shot fire and then had fire rain on them.
Yeah, this actually is fun.
All of her weapons are alive. She has taken the souls of her enemies and shoved them into her weapons. And they all have unique like the cloud has its own personality, the sun has its own personality, the sword has its own personality. Like it is just delightful. She's also the most terrifying person in the shit. Like, how can you not love this series?
Easy. I haven't watched it.
Well, fair.
You're terrified of the enormity of it, because then you fall in love with it, and then it's just such an iceberg that you're terrified of the potential.
Sir, I have commitment issues when it comes to anime, and when it goes on too long, it's over.
Fair. I feel like that's why Blue Lock works for you.
I need that second season.
Okay, so before we transition to Blue Lock, you like how I just slid that in there. On the opposite end of the spectrum from Big Mom is Boa Hancock, who is every shonen fan service trope shoved into one person, but she actually weaponizes it. Her power is, if you look at her with even the slightest lustful intent, you are petrified. It cannot be undone, and that's just it. Game over.
I love that.
And her whole thing is, she has a very, her backstory is incredibly well done. And the culmination of it is, I will never bow down to another man again.
Well,
I love this raging asexual energy. Let's go.
So she she makes an island full of women. She is allied with the Crossdresser Kingdom. So like, yo, we're cool with y'all. We rock with you. And I will never bow to another. A man sets foot on her island and she says, you have to the count of 3 to get off before I kill you and everyone that you rolled here with.
It's like, bitch, get off my island.
Sitting on the porch with a shotgun, like, hey, got to the count of 3, boy. And I'm not a woman that repeats herself. Best get stepping.
You landed on the wrong island. You need to turn that boat around.
The other thing I love about Boa Hancock is it's not her power that makes her strong. She's just natural. Like she is physically strong as well. Like she throws hands. She just also knows that she can weaponize her sexuality for men that would take advantage of her. And she's like, I have all these tools at my disposal. It's not going down. So, anyways, Blue Lock, because we were talking about toxicity, and friend of the show Jeffrey was talking about how, all right, toxic game design, because this shit is toxic. I apparently this is a thing in fighting games. I didn't know this because I really don't play fighting games like that. Apparently, when you play fighting games online and you're going through like a ranking system, they will tell you when the person you're playing is about to promote or derank based on the results of this match. Yes. That shit is toxic.
I love it.
That is toxic.
I love it so much.
There is no reason I need to know that information. But when I see that I'm going against someone and it says if they lose, they go down a rank, I get that Blue Lock monster in me. It's just
it
like,
fuels the egoist in you.
I'm sitting there like, I'm about to crush his dream, and it's gonna feel so good.
Yeah.
It hits that terrible part of our human nature.
Yes.
I don't know why we're hardwired with that, but fighting games know we're hardwired with it.
Listen, I don't understand why anybody should be allowed to have a good time at my expense when you can have so much other joy without involving me at all. So if you want to involve me, if you want to step over me to have a good time, that's not going to happen. I feel like it's not even a dark side of human nature. It's the audacity that you think you're going to put on your game and have a better time than me at the same time? No. No, sir. No. That's not gonna...
So there's a moment in Blue Lock where the protagonist is matched up against one of the other characters that we've grown attached to in the beginning. And if they lose, whoever loses this match gets kicked out. And
which one are we talking about? Because that's like all of Blue Lock.
Not Ohio.
Okay.
Like, let's crush each other, Asagi. And I was like, yo, this show gets it. Like, Blue Lock is such a brilliant subversion of typical shonen sports tropes.
My favorite, honestly, is still in that first episode when they're like, you don't understand how unhinged this is. When they're playing that game of like basically dodgeball.
Yes.
And there's that moment where Home Skillet has the ball, main character, he's got the ball, and he has to knock somebody out. And he's got that there's a clear option. Like there's a clear idea of like, this is who you should knock out. And instead turns around and smashes that ball in the face of probably the best player in there, who's also been like this entire time has been, we need to work together as a, like, spouting all of the shonen tropes, shonen teamwork tropes. This is for Japan. And just get smashed in the face, and you watch that asshole's whole facade just drop.
Yes.
That's what it was. He loses his shit. And I was like, there we go. Because you only see it for like a nanosecond earlier in the episode. Like earlier in the episode, he's just like, that guy is like, hey, do a good job. And, you can pass to me anytime. And I was like, there it is.
So
He specifically says like, you can pass to me anytime. And I was just like, I found it. And then like when that man loses his ever living mind after getting kicked out the island, it was so good.
So, little more context. The way the show starts, the main character, Isagi, is he's playing with, it's Isagi, playing with his high school team. They're like, oh, we're about to go to nationals. I can shoot the goal. I can shoot and win. He sees his teammate open, and then he's like, that's right. Soccer is a team sport played by 11 people working together for a single goal. He passes and his homie misses the shot. And he has a full-on breakdown of, I shouldn't have passed. I should have took that shot. I wouldn't have missed. I wouldn't have missed. God damn it. And so we get to Blue Lock, and that's why I like it's so important that this other character is like, yeah, you can pass me whenever. Because like, okay, the way it's set up, we're like, okay, so this is the character that's going to be in direct contrast to Ego's philosophy. And Ego's whole philosophy is get buckets. Ignore everything else, get buckets. And they included, they have my favorite Pele quote: goalie, midfielder, striker, defender, it doesn't matter. If the question is who is the best player on the field, the answer is Pele.
I love that they had Pele's direct quote in there.
He said the answer is me. God damn it.
Me.
They had someone else that was like, I feel better if we lose 4-3 and I scored the 3 than if we win 1-0 and I didn't score. Like, again, the whole philosophy is get buckets. I'll figure the rest out. If we just have one dude that can get buckets, I'll make the rest of this shit work.
Because also the premise of it is Japanese soccer is a joke. This show is clearly written by somebody who has feelings about the state of Japanese soccer.
Like that's the dynamic that I'm like, what? There is so much commentary about the state of Japanese soccer here that I don't know, that I need to figure this out because someone here is mad.
Like the creator, like I feel like the creator was so mad he learned art.
Yes.
like this is somebody who watched one too many losses and then had a breakdown and then made an anime or manga to anime. Like clearly the creator was going through some things. And this unhinged piece of shonen, probably one of the top unhinged things I have ever seen, and I watch unhinged things.
Because it's like the whole point of it is, so normally for sports shonen, it's about teamwork. This is all about
fuck that.
Perform to your individual best at all costs. Everything else will work itself out. There's a moment where two characters that have been rivals figure out that the way that they can best work together is to literally steal the ball from each other. While on the same team, the same teammates will actively steal from each other, and it works.
Isagi and Bato.
Yes.
I love Isagi and Bato's relationship. Also, Bato being a huge control freak cracks me up.
So, Blue Lock it's so much fun.
It's also very gay.
It is unabashedly gay.
It's like you can't have a bunch of boys in a room and it not be gay.
So after season 1 ended, I've read the rest of the manga. It's gay. Like, Bachida's gay. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts, he's gay.
Oh
There's another
yeah.
character
Oh,
we're going to
Bachata
meet.
has to be gay.
Yeah, there's another character we meet, also gay. Um,
Wait, who?
you haven't met him yet, but
Damn it.
he's gay. Isagi, at minimum, bi.
Oh,
He's-
Isagi's bi.
Um,
I think Isagi's attracted. I think Isagi's like. I think it's everybody. I think he's the personality person who also has crushes on all of his friends.
all right, so manga spoiler, it's thighs. That's what he's attracted to. Strong thighs.
Oh, I mean, that is universal. There's just no. I mean, I get it. I too am.
Mm-hmm.
And like the way it comes up, he's just like, yeah, like I'm a thighs guy. And they're like, thighs? He's like, thighs. And I'm like, oh, okay. Also, someone's like, I gotta put a collar on you. And he's like, hey, don't joke, I'm into that shit. I'm like, whoa. So it's just unhinged in every way, shape, or form.
Okay, but the fact, like, in at least I can say with the anime. So in the anime, they have like shorts, like little skits after the thing. They're worth watching. Every single one of them. Also, the one with they're imagining Bada as a maid in a maid cafe.
Yes.
One, the accuracy, with the absolute accuracy, but they got really into that imagination. They're like, wait, this could super serve everything. They're like literally thinking of the logistics of it. And I'm like, wait. They have a point though. They were right. They weren't wrong.
They were not wrong.
And I also appreciate it because so I have a thing with like Shonen Ai and anything with like BL, etc. A lot of it is done from like a really heterosexual angle. Because like, and a lot of BL is specifically geared towards women. Like it is not actually intended for queer audiences, it's intended for women. And so anything that has like what I kind of call like genuine like queer messaging to it, I eat that shit up. It also means I don't like most queer shit in any manga or anime because it's all bad. But this is good.
Yeah, no.
I'm not running from this. This is good.
Because it's like, I think you'll get what I mean when I say this. It's not a plot point, but it feels natural to the characters, right? Like it feels like these characters, what I'm watching are these characters interacting naturally.
Right. They do such a good job of that. If you've played team sports, you have encountered a lot of this conversation. Like, I played softball. There you go. Like, I'm just gonna leave it to the imagination.
I mean, we have not made peace with the reality of that. So, I mean,
softball's a lesbian sport. Like, I don't know what to tell people.
we have not made peace with some of the inherent eroticism of team sports yet. We haven't made peace with it. We have and we haven't. So
Listen, if you have like 20 something of the same sex individuals together, a percentage of them are not going to be straight or cisgender. There's statistics here.
Did you
and they also spend a lot of time being sweaty and gross around each other. Yeah. Conversation happens.
There is a Houston Rockets player in real life. This came up in real life. There's a Houston Rockets player. I think Jalen Green, I think his name is. Justin is, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Possibly.
So, let me make sure I got this. Make sure I got the name right. Let's see. It should be Jalen Green. Let's see. He was caught horsing around with one of his teammates, and he was just whole ass dry humping him, like legs up in the air, for about 10 seconds. And the response, again, like I said, people have not made peace with the natural homoeroticism of these team sports. And the guy he was dry humping was immediately traded from the team, by the way. He was immediately, within 48 hours, he was traded from the team. It was like a second string power forward, not consequential, completely ejected from the roster as soon as it did not take 2 days. So when I say we have not made peace with it yet, I know what you're saying. We're not there yet.
That's like standard college shit.
I agree with you. The response to it.
Do you know how many straight dudes I've seen just randomly hump each other?
Yes, I know that. We have not made peace with it.
I don't understand.
I understand, yes.
Anyway.
Yes, and that was his best friend on the team. So he was dry humping his best friend, and then he got traded immediately.
That's fucking dude thing.
That's my understanding. I went to an all-boys Irish Catholic military school. The penises were out with startling regularity. And then I went to a co-ed college, and there were no penises to be seen. It's just that when you get a lot of the gentlemen together, it is what it is.
I, unfortunately, have been treated as one of the dudes.
So, you've seen a lot of penises.
So I have seen dude rituals that I wish I had never known about. And I really do mean this in they genuinely were treating me as one of the guys. This isn't like actually like a sexual harassment thing. I was actually like degendered. So there's like a room full of dudes just being a room full of dudes, and I have seen more penis than I have ever wanted to see in my entire life, which is also why I am very tired of penis jokes. Like if I never have to hear another penis joke, I will die happy.
Me too.
But I have definitely seen exactly what you're talking about, which is why I'm sitting here watching Blue Lock, and I'm like, this is just what dudes do.
This is how we are, yes. We absolutely positively. And what's always fascinating to me is, and this is, we're now stepping off the road a little bit. When you challenge them to be actually, like, they're pantomiming homosexuality, and when you suggest that they just do it and stop fucking around, the response, Pikachu faces across the board, a wave of Pikachu faces. Like, two of you have your penises in your hand. But the suggestion that maybe you guys are a little bit more queer than you understand. No! Never. They would double face palm, but one hand is actually on their penis, so they have to do a single face palm. No.
Which is a thing I do appreciate about Blue Lock is nobody treats it weird.
Yes. It's just weird. It's just weird how it is a common thing until it is not. Like with humans, that's what I like about the show. It's yes.
There's a scene where all the characters are public bath, they're all bathing together, and the thing that's treated as weird is the fact that someone's towel is just floating in the tub, and it's like, get your dirty ass towel out of the tub.
Right. Exactly. That shit made me laugh so hard.
No, but seriously, don't have your towel in the fucking communal bathtub, bro. That's crazy. We got the outside dirt, bro. Like we soaking. Did you bring in that dirt?
My man wasn't wrong when he said you're nasty.
That's nasty. Why you bringing
I
that?
love Bato so much.
Yeah, bro, you can't be
I love Bato.
He's just like, you're nasty.
Can't
That clean that egotistical control freak is not wrong. He is also very gay, and you can't tell me he's not.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. From one, well, I guess.
Wait, really quick. By the way, I just want you all to know this means I watched an entire anime.
Yes, Bacon watched all of season 1.
How many episodes were there? Because I think I had to binge it, but I didn't catch up to where.
Like 23.
Oh,
which is the perfect number.
Ooh, I was halfway through. Okay, cool. Because they had gotten into section 2. They had just beaten the. Yeah, they gotten into section 2 where they had gotten broken up into individual workouts and testing, and then that was where I had to stop because I literally took a nap before we recorded. So,
were both of you watching the dub?
Yes, I had
Yeah.
so I started on the dub because I always start on the dub because like I want to hear the voice acting. And the voice acting was so good. I was like, well, I'm here now.
Yeah, it was very good.
The dub has the single greatest dub line ever recorded.
What?
Wait, which one?
Hold on, I will send it to Bake because I want Aaron to experience this naturally when it happens. I don't want to spoil this for him.
Okay.
So yeah, no, Blue Lock, it is enjoyable. It is a nice subversion of what you expect with traditional sports shonen. You can also tell. So in season 2, if they cover what I think they're going to cover in season 2, you can tell that he did not expect this to be as popular as it was. Because there's actually you can tell the moment where it's supposed to end, and then it's like, oh, this is making me making a lot of money on this. Why don't you keep this thing going? Oh, I guess. Okay, sure.
There is nothing that makes me happier than when an artist suddenly stumbles upon something they did not expect to make money. And that the change in narrative direction when it starts to fan out because the person has the freedom to do that and is now getting paid specifically to do that. Absolutely marvelous.
Wild.
That's right up there with, you ever see one of those network TV shows when they get the money and the second season immediately is at a higher resolution with different cinematography, massive, like Xena Warrior Princess was the best one I had ever seen. When Xena Warrior Princess was doing the thing, all the flyby shots, resolution changes, action, extras, costuming, I was like, oh, y'all had an infusion of funds. I love that shit.
They unknowingly tapped into the lesbian market.
Listen, Xena was better than Hercules for reasons we could not put our finger on at the time, and has nothing.
I mean, it was so much better. You had the story between the characters. You had an extremely strong female lead. You had Xena being like, she was so goddamn messy, like messy combat, messy sex life, like just messy in appearance sometimes, and it was fine. She was also like unbelievably strong, like as strong as Hercules, but she had everything else going on, so she was wildly more interesting.
Like, we found
also
out
Lucy Lawless is just phenomenal.
It's like we had the inkling, because I remember when I was younger, and my brother is decades ago, and my brother was, I remember he said, I think Kevin Sorbo might suck, to his friends, like in the apartment moons ago. And I was like, that has aged so well. I think Kevin Sorbo might suck. Yes, Mark.
He's really bad.
Yes, my dear brother, my dear oldest brother. Decades later, you are so right. He does, in fact, suck. Lucy Lawless is better. Age is better with time. We enjoy seeing her now more. She's like 55 or something. We now enjoy seeing her now more than ever.
She literally hasn't aged to me.
Nah. We love to see it. She walk out to raucous cheers, any convention, any group of people after a certain age. Raucous cheers.
Also, like, anything that interesting happened on Hercules was not him.
No, he was getting...
And then all of those same characters showed up in Xena.
Yeah.
Like Ares, major antagonist in Hercules, but also major antagonist in Xena. Way more interesting in Xena.
Yeah.
Also, that thing that they had going back and forth all the time. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Was it...
bisexual icon.
Yeah. Was it... Hercules' homie was Aeolus, wasn't it?
Yes. Aeolus was way more interesting than Hercules.
Oh my God, he was way more...
And he was also boring, but way more interesting.
Yeah.
And you also didn't have any queer sexual tension between the two.
That's because
Gabby and Xena absolutely get together.
That was, like I said, a lot of the problems with Hercules' dynamic relationships was because Kevin Sorbo is a log. And we didn't know it at the time until we met Lucy Lawless, and we were like, oh, like I said, I think Kevin Sorbo might suck. He might not be good at this. Good. He might be not good. And it turns out his
politics are terrible.
Right. He's gotten worse. He was not good then, and he's gotten worse now.
He's only gotten worse. He, like, as time goes on, progressively gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
Something that does not get worse with time.
Oh, I was going to say something that has gotten worse with time.
Oh, wait, what's got worse? I want to hear what Justin has to say.
Because I was going to use this to segue to our main story with Activision losing the rights to the Transformers games.
Okay, I was gonna transition into Final Fantasy, but we can talk shit about
Ooh.
Activision first.
Yes.
Yeah,
We'll close out with Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So, and segue's already built in from one poorly managed company to a properly managed company.
I am always fascinated by how much money Activision loses on the table, and I'm fascinated that we dislike Microsoft so much that we jam them up for a calendar year when they wanted to buy Activision, a company that sucks. Everyone that worked for Activision wanted them to be bought by Microsoft. When I worked for Activision, everyone was dying for the opportunity to not work officially at Activision, so it could say Microsoft on your resume, aside from just not working for Activision. Anywho,
Luckily, that looks like that's going to happen.
it is going to happen finally.
Thank you to that judge who was like, "Why are we here?
Why are we here? Wasting people's time for a year fussing over this shit. Activision is objectively poorly run.
I'm not gonna lie. That if they hadn't have gotten that judge, I don't think that all of the other ones who were like, no, we're saying no to this. I don't think they would be like looking at new deals of making this work, because now they just got shown their ass.
Right.
Judge was like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Right. And
now it looks like it's gonna take some time, but it looks like it's gonna go through.
Yeah, it's gonna.
But anyway,
it was gonna take time
Activision.
before. One of the things they hold hostage is Transformers, specifically the Cybertron series. I was wondering, like I said, they've re-released. Hasbro has re-released, not re-released. They've released some Cybertron action figures, full stop, based on the games. And I remember telling Erica's boy, big Transformers fan, I was like, oh, this means remasters are coming. It has to be. There's no way they're introducing Cybertron action figures out of nowhere in the summer where the Transformers movie comes out, and they're not trying to remaster the Cybertron series for us. And they have not. Reason why, apparently, is that they don't have, Activision does not have the Cybertron series. The hard drive that had the game on it is missing. They do not know where to get it. They do not know who has it. So they've actually lost the source code, the actual original versions of the Cybertron series to remaster. They don't have access to them. So Hasbro had to, I believe they had to legally download the game to get proper modeling, get proper shots of the Transformers that they made the figures of, because they couldn't get it from Activision because they've lost the Cybertron series, which is why we do not have a remaster when we would logically have remasters coming out. So, yeah, they lost it. Kind of like, yeah.
If that doesn't tell people how much of a garbage company who can't even handle their professional shit.
I maintain.
Also, maybe if you didn't treat your employees like shit, your things wouldn't go missing.
Right. I was about to say, it's just Larry. It's the homie Larry just took it because Activision has offended hundreds of people for years. And I'm guarantee you Larry was like, oh, word? I'm deactivated 4 seconds after getting laid off? Okay, cool. I haven't even left the office yet and I'm deactivated? That's crazy. Fuck you guys. And he left. And because he was deactivated, there's no way to contact Larry. And you call him and you go to voicemail. And that was years ago. And yeah, Larry, maybe Todd, Andrew, Dana, somebody, Stacy, somebody took that game with them and said, fuck you, Activision. While Activision was too busy telling them to go fuck themselves. So, there you go. I hope Microsoft can track down the person that has the Cybertron series so we can get the ball rolling on that, because I kind of want to play those games again.
Listen, honestly, like those games were the first good Transformers games, and like we have the youth now. People are too young to remember. I'm gonna pull my old hat out. There were no good Transformers games.
No, not at all.
There were none. So when they announced a new Transformers game, everybody went, okay.
Sure, bro.
cool, I guess.
Sure, bro.
And then we looked at it and we're like, okay, it looks theoretically okay, but we've been here. But no, it is a solid game. It was extremely fun. You could play through like all of the fucking characters. War for Cybertron was a fucking masterpiece. It was so fucking amazing.
Three man co-op. It had the horde mode, multiplayer,
co-op.
and everything.
You could do online against your homies. Like, it was one of the best games that came out on 360. It was fucking solid. And the subsequent games that came after, also fucking solid. So good.
Fall of Cybertron is the best. It was the best Transformers thing I think ever made for a long time. Like the actual
ever.
Fall of Cybertron.
Not even for a long time. Ever. The only thing that compares is the actual shows.
Right. And yeah, High Moon Studios, by the way, they were contracted afterwards. They were working on a third They were working on a third Cybertron game, and then they were contracted to do the Dark Side of the Moon, whatever that Dark of the Moon Michael Bay movie. Yeah, they were then told to stop making the third Cybertron game to work on this Michael Bay game. And it's funny because in that part of the game, in that game, a quarter of it takes place on actual Cybertron. So there actually is the third Cybertron game, which is actually very good on that game. The rest of it is on Earth. It's nonsense. It's not good. But the Cybertron stuff from the third game, effectively, they were told to stop making so they could make this Michael Bayverse game and try to make some money. Exists in that game. And then they were, I believe now they're in Call of Duty Purgatory. They make Call of Duty games. I'm sure they've
always wanted to be.
Where
they could make more Transformers games.
Yes, they specifically came together because they all love Transformers so much, and then they were immediately put into the salt mines to hammer at Call of Duty and round up the edges of Call of Duty games every year.
Which made them all leave because nobody wants to be stuck on Call of Duty.
Yeah. I mean, it's good, consistent work as a game dev. Like in terms of your job does change. You have a lot of turnover if you are a game dev. If you are like a Call of Duty utility studio, you just are always working on Call of Duty. It's always hammering.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. What it does though is lead to there's like very little change in your job.
Yeah. No, it's not fulfilling. It is in fact the office, like the high paying office job where no one knows you're there. And no one will ask you to leave as a result. No one will ask for anything of you. But yeah, we don't have we don't know where the Cybertron series is. That's really the point of this story. Is we do not know where the Cybertron series is on Earth. Like in a Carmen Sandiego kind of way, not like Lost in the Cloud or anything like that. It's like no. There's a person with a red hat that has a hard drive in some sub basement. I assume it's there, and maybe when Microsoft acquires it, we can get some of these games that Activision holds hostage on Game Pass, and then they can that'd be great. Shout out to Activision.
Ayo.
There is no segue to Final Fantasy because Activision is a joyless mass of suffering.
So let's go to a joyful mass.
I mean, there's plenty of segues. There's, again, the poorly managed company to Square Enix.
Yeah.
There's the joyless mass to the joyful mass. Like, we got you. We got you.
So FanFest, Final Fantasy FanFest, which is a fest for everything Final Fantasy. And it's held in 3 different places in the world. There's 3 of them. So FanFest North America was held in Las Vegas on my birthday. Like, actually. It was July 28th and July 29th. And so at FanFest, because again, it celebrates everything Final Fantasy. They do all of the expansion announcements at FanFest. The next FanFest is in Europe, and I forgot where in Europe because I don't care about Europe, and it's like sometime in October. and then the one in Japan, I believe, is in January, and I don't remember because I'm a U.S. citizen. However, what they do at each fan fest is at each fan fest they give different information about the expansion, so it's a really hype lead up into the expansion. And what we mentioned like last fan fest is that the community is extremely like hype. It's a lot of good energy. Like everybody is extremely excited. Nobody like they're excited to see everybody. It's a completely different energy than a lot of the other cons. There were a lot of 88 issues, but I'm not gonna blame that on FanFest because that's a con issue. In general, just large cons and the folks that they have, because it's not like Square Enix is managing the con. They like hire people to manage the con, and then there's like the con staff. Like con management's a little bit weird. So like, and that's the thing that happens across all large cons. It's not great, but it is what it is. They announced that Final Fantasy 14 is coming to Xbox. I don't think Phil Spencer has ever been celebrated on a stage before in his life, and now he has been. My favorite were, folks acting like us who play Xbox don't know what PlayStation control buttons look like. Because there's combat mechanics in the game that show like the PlayStation symbols, and I'm like, first off, those don't correlate to the buttons on the controller, and second off, we know what those buttons are, asshole. Right here. I do the reading. I know what the buttons are. Use an Xbox controller. Fuck you, FC members who made that joke who are listening to this.
Yeah.
LJ was there. He knows what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So then there's a lot of information about the next expansion. We're getting like 2 new classes. We're getting another melee, which I'm actually annoyed about because we don't need another melee. But we're getting a melee and we're getting a caster, which we do actually need another caster. So this is good.
Yeah, my speculation is the new melee is going to share gear with Ninja because nothing else shares gear with Ninja.
Yeah, I'm positive. Like it's gonna share scouting gear. But they also teased that they're gonna do a new role. And so I think Ninja and this new class would be a new role. Because
that'd be interesting.
Well, Ninja is dex based.
Okay, I see where you're going with that.
Yes. So it is a dex-based melee, and this other one would also be if it's using scouting gear, would be a dex-based melee, which would split the melees, which also means that they could do more fun things with melee classes.
Right, however, like that's gonna have implications for Savage and EX content. Well, more Savage than EX.
So if you think about Ninja is a melee class, but Ninja has a lot of range utility. So because it's also dex-based, it's also half magic and half not. It's like it is the only melee that's like that. Half of all of Ninja's abilities are actually magic. All of the mudras, they're magic. So that with a new class, you can have a mixture of range attacks and melee attacks on a melee without shoving it into the other melees. They also said one of the 2 jobs is going to be completely original. I feel like it's going to be the caster. I feel like we've explored all of the casters that exist in the Final Fantasy universe, and the ones that we haven't, their abilities are split between multiple classes already. So I feel like the caster is going to be the original job, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. The new expansion is called, what is it called again, Justin? Because I only remember memes.
And a Dawntrail?
It's called One Piece. Unironically, it is.
Justin, I swear to fucking God.
Look, if you put
You do not.
the opening to One Piece to that trailer, it fits perfectly.
That's because Yoshida is a dork, but the story is based entirely around Central and South America.
Yes, no, it's Dawn Trail. It's Dawn Trail.
Also, it's partially based off of southern, just the southern part of North American indigenous folks, which makes me very nervous.
There's a lot of different ways the story can go.
I did not want us to go to the New World. It's actually called the New World, by the way.
So,
like, it has an actual name though, but before in the game they reference it as the New World.
Right. The socio-political cringe of calling something the New World, I think I'll get that taste out of my mouth by the time it drops, and once we get there, we'll stop calling it the New World. And if the writing staff is clever, they'll make a joke about how can this be a new world? We've lived here for centuries. Like they'll acknowledge the cringe of it.
I will say that my cringe doesn't come from that. My cringe comes from the existing content in the game right now that references the New World.
Oh, Blue Mage, yeah.
It's not just Blue Mage. There's a lot.
Oh, okay.
There's a whole. Have you seen the New World Glamour?
Oh, I get it now.
There's a lot of that. There is not a single reference to the New World that is not from a colonialistic and extremely problematic lens. I have concerns. And the entire Blue Mage quest train from beginning to end is also that. It is not good. The Blue Mage storyline makes me very angry.
So, this could either be a nice, refreshing breather from the weight that was Endwalker, or it could be a lot of cringe, or it could be both.
It could be both. I have a feeling it's going to be both. I also have the feeling that the localization team is going to be doing a lot of lifting.
Oh yeah.
What people don't realize and what people don't know is that there is a very large Hispanic and Latino population that plays the game. There's a lot of people from South and Central America and the southern part of North America that play this game. They're on the NA servers.
Yeah. So the localization team is going to be earning their check for this.
My static.
Also that. Yeah, no, the localization team will be earning their paychecks for this expansion.
The localization team will be earning their pay. We also have a new writer, Ishikawa, who has been writing, who wrote Shadowbringers, The Dome Inside of Stormblood, and Endwalker. She is going into a more leadership position and isn't going to be doing the main scenario writing. We're going to have a new one. We're going to have a new writer. So I'm hoping new writer is really able to tackle some of this stuff. It really looks like they're leaning towards like an exploration, like they're really leaning into the exploration train of things. The Warrior of Light Meteor got a glow up. I have never been more attracted to that character ever. I've always thought of him as like people like, I love Meteor, he's hot. And I'm like, is he? He is now.
Got some sun on the skin, little moisturizer, got some conditioner in the hair.
He's got the correct kind of stubble. His hair, he's growing out his hair. It's pulled back in a little ponytail. He's got the man boob happening, but the right amount of man boob.
Yeah. So the Dawn Trail is going to be exciting next summer. Xbox players can start hopping in, I believe, for 6.5. That's when is it an open beta or is it a closed beta?
I thought it was open beta.
Okay, so it's open beta. So Xbox folks,
Xbox people.
First of all, act right, because I've seen y'all.
Hey,
I'm like, okay, Oh, not any worse than the PlayStation people.
No, no,
I know.
He's right. My first
I-
response was listen up. So you know what? You know what? He's not wrong. Just
But this also means that ain't none of you have an excuse anymore.
Come on down, baby. The Northern Wilson author, baby. We right here.
We are right here.
If
We
you
have
if you're
an
looking
FC.
for
It's active. We like new people. I can help you get set up on a controller. We have an active Discord. It's very queer. There's black folks there too. And other melanated, not black folks.
if you're looking for a nice non-toxic environment to enjoy the game, you know, we here for you. If you don't want to deal with racist and party finder, if you don't want to deal with just trolling in general, we got you. Come on
I mean,
down.
I can't promise that last one.
You're right.
I am a troll.
It's with love. It comes from a place of love. We murder our friends with love and compassion.
I will absolutely haze my friends with love and compassion. And rescue memes, apparently.
Yeah. I'm excited though. So that this also means Dynamis is or the Dynamis data center is about to pop off for real. Because that's where all the Xbox folks are gonna end up. Because if Square Enix does what I suspect they'll do, is the minute 6.5 drops, they'll mark every data center as congested and just force everyone to do Dynamis. And that'll become the Xbox server, the Xbox
for North America.
Yeah.
Because Materia, which is the Oceania Nation data center, is in desperate need, and they're walled off from everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really big. Trying to think of what else that's really big. I mean, those were the really big highlights to me.
So you also said you had a bunch of 6.5 stuff to cover.
Yes, I have all of it right here, Justin. So 6.5 and 6.55 are going to be like delayed because the expansion's not coming out till summer. So usually with our schedule, with the way that the schedule would be like, the expansion would be coming out in January, in like early winter. And let me tell you, I was fucking pressed. So to find out it's coming out in summer, I am so relieved. I have so much more time. 6.5 will come out in October, and 6.55 will be coming out in January. The next main scenario quest is called Growing Light. I know nothing about it because I refuse. I keep myself unspoilered. There's going to be tribal alliance quests, which I'm very excited about because we have not had an alliance quest since Stormblood, and Walker didn't have any. That alliance quest is just when there's tribal quests for each expansion, and when you complete all of them, there's another like storyline that kind of finishes. It's kind of like a celebration of everything that you did. And so Endwalker is going to have one, which I'm really excited because there was a question that did not get answered. The storyline did not finish, and I needed to finish, and now it's going to finish, and I'm very excited about it. Tartaru's Grand Endeavor is going to be continuing. So almost all of the stuff with Endwalker, we haven't talked a lot about Final Fantasy, but since the end of the main storyline, which was 6.0, 6.1 to now has been cleaning up whatever loose storylines that they had, and there's also been a really elaborate like farewell to an end of a story arc. It's also like the main story has also been kind of like an intermediary adventure that also answers another very important question that we were all wondering around. So, and like this entire period has been tying up every single loose storyline since 2.0, which is A Realm Reborn. And when I tell you they are being thorough in ways that I did not think, they are being, it's wild. And so Tataru's Grand Endeavor is, it's kind of like a victory lap of like reliving all of your different adventures, but also as a thank you to the characters and to one specific character who's been with like you since the beginning, which is Tataru. I love her. She's a precious being. So that's going to be continuing. There's going to be further Hildebrand adventures in 6.55. That's all related to the relics, which is great. I am not high enough or on enough drugs for Hildebrand's storyline. Even though Endwalker's storyline has Hildebrand, it's genuinely funny. It's very well written. The content around it, hysterical. Not enough drugs. Just not enough drugs in the world. I think Justin, you're enjoying it.
Enjoy, yeah, I can say I'm enjoying it. It is, it's out there. It is, I and I mean this without a hint of irony. It is one of the more grounded Hildebrand quest chains. Because like the others were just so balls to the wall out there, but this one actually feels grounded.
It is grounded in that it's not problematic.
There we go. That's that. You found the words for me.
Because I'm like, there's nothing grounded about this, but it's not offending anybody.
So it like I said, I've been enjoying it. I'm glad I did all of the Hildebrand stuff ahead of time so that I can just like do the relic stuff and enjoy it at my own pace and not just like rush through stuff. The relic weapons actually they also like just look really good. Like this is I'm enjoying the look for all the relic weapons that I'm going to get. I can't speak to the ones I'm not getting, but the ones I am getting.
The scholar book is gonna grow on me like a parasite.
That's fair.
I haven't. It's one of those where I'm like, the more I look at it, the more it's gonna seep into my brain and control my thoughts and make me like it. There's no saving the scholar book for the raid series. It's hideous. I hate it. It's a fucking triangle, and it's not even a good one. There's a new dungeon coming out. There is the crafting and gathering relics, which the storyline for that is hysterical. Justin, if you have not started the crafting and gathering relics,
I have not. I was actually going to skip it, but now that you said it's hilarious, it'll give me something to do on off days.
It's really so the way that it'll be almost exactly like when you did the Shadowbringer relics. Like it's not different in like what you're doing from that, but the story around it is very funny and you're gonna like it because it's very clearly a mirror of Rowena and Geralt, but the ones on the first. So
oh, okay.
So it's Rowena. It's the characters who are the who are like the mirror image of Geralt and Rowena, and it's their relationship.
Okay.
It's fucking ridiculous. I definitely had some secondhand embarrassment moments, but definitely worth it. It also, because you're doing the Hildebrand quest, it also pairs with that really well.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
No, I mean like the stories kind of go together. So if you're doing them at the same time, so you'll see it. I think you'll like it. That's more my kind of humor, actually. So yeah, there's gonna be a new dungeon coming out, a new trial coming out, which if you've played Final Fantasy IV, you already know what's happening. We're just screaming right now. Like my homie Kath and I are just screaming at each other about what's coming up.
Like they're really doing it. I'm like, oh, go you.
They're really doing it. They're really doing it. There's the next Unreal trial is Thornton Extreme.
Oh hell yes! All right, I'm doing the next Unreal. I'm doing the next Unreal.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Mechanics?
Yes. I'm
okay.
I'm with it. Let's get it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the next one's Thornton. So it's gonna be thwarted like it was on Release in Heaven's Word, but at level 90 with level 90 abilities. But the DPS check will be, it's going to be a thing. There's a lot of personal responsibility, and it's going to be, that one's going to be a thing. I'm both looking forward to it and not looking forward to it. I have to, my homie Gumi and I, we're going to have to teach people that fight. But I think I'm going to be doing it on DPS because we need to make sure that damage happens.
Yeah. No, when that drops, I'm in the static. Put me in, coach. I'm ready.
I don't think we'll have a static. And the static that we have is like usually generally Wednesdays. But it's a very casual static.
That's fine. Look, whenever you run that Unreal, put me in, coach. I'm ready.
All right, I will let Gumi know. I'll let Gumi know. I'll let Eve know as well. We also get the new Alliance raid, which is gonna give us the last answers about the 12. I'm actually really excited about it because both of my patrons are gonna be in that one. So I'm really excited. They're adding duty support for Stormblood. So basically it's gonna be the Drowned City, Escala, the Burn, and Gimalt Dark.
Which means you can now do MSQ solo.
Yes, all of the main story from A Realm Reborn through Endwalker will have duty support in all of the main story dungeons. So that means you don't have to play with random people. You can learn at your own place with a party of NPCs. And the NPCs have like, it's actually kind of fun going through it. Even now, like I'll go through with duty support because the NPCs, like if you're going through it through the story, like they have things that they say, like they're interactive. There's like extra lore, and yes. I love lore.
And ironically, Sastasha regular with duty support, go through that with the duty support. There's a lot of interesting things that everybody says, and keeping in mind that that's like the start of your journey.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to because I am working on getting some classes up to 90.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, I'm not excited about the last ones that start at 1. We're getting a new in 6.5.1, we're getting a new variant dungeon, which is also going to have the both levels of the Criterion version of it, which are extreme and savage mode essentially of that variant dungeon. This one we're going to be exploring alongside a person named Matsya, who is a character specifically from Endwalker, who's a delightful being. I'm pretty excited about that. There's going to be some PvE and PvP job adjustments. All of the job adjustments will be done in like 6.51 for PvP because they're extending the PvP ranked season until 6.51, which is nice. We're getting mini-map and UI adjustments. We're getting a new arena. I'm so hyped for a new map. I love new maps. Give me more new maps in PvP. We're going to have more Island Sanctuary updates. I don't know if we talked about Island Sanctuary. Island Sanctuary is once you complete the main story for Endwalker, which is level 90, they're like, you need a vacation. You need a break. Here's an island. And like, you can just develop that island. It's cozy content. It's basically like, we've been calling it Animal Crossing. Because like you literally just go around and you gather things, and like there's a lot of rewards that are built with it. It is peak cozy content. You have like a little house on this like deserted island that you're basically just like making into a vacation touristy place. It's really cool. I like it. I have done the rewards. I'm actually wondering if they're going to continue with Island Sanctuary or if they're just going to keep it only in Endwalker. I can't quite tell right now, but they're kind of going ham with it. One of the new creatures that you can catch and put in your pastures is going to be a marble, which I'm very excited about because I want one really bad. There's going to be new quests and whatnot all with that. There is a Fall Guys collaboration coming in 6.5. And it's going to be paired with the gold saucer. No, I'm not kidding. It it looks not just like a collaboration, it looks like a full crossover.
Yeah, like I am irrationally excited about the crossover collab. Like irrationally. Can you imagine Fall Guys in the gold, like a Fall Guys? What are they called in the gold sauce? The Fates called?
Gates.
There we go. A Fall Guys gate. Let's go.
This
Let's go.
this is full Fall Guys. Like, I'm not kidding. It's all of the colors, and it's Fall Guys with Moogles in it.
If they have the Fall Guys music in this as well, game of the year.
You know
already.
they're gonna have the Fall Guys music. But in things that I did not have on my bingo card ever in life was a Fall Guys and Final Fantasy collaboration. I don't know what's happening. We're gonna have new custom deliveries. It's gonna be with a person from Charlian. Not telling the name because spoiler. They're now going to have like indicators on for newly logged fish in the fish guide, so you know what you've caught.
Oh, perfect.
Yes. Important update. We're going to be able to store optional items in the armoire. Optional items are anything you buy off Mog Station.
Hell yeah.
Do
Free
you-
up that space in my glamour chest.
That space in my Justin, you don't understand. My glamour dresser is full.
We just expanded it to 800, but I get it.
Do you know how long it took me to fill it?
A week.
You are not wrong. It was actually a week because
Yes.
what happened was I pulled everything out of my retainers and shoved it in my glamour dresser and hit 760.
Sounds about right.
Our glamour dresser had 400 slots. They increased it to 800. And I was like, this isn't going to be enough. And I was not incorrect. And so I am back to where I was, which is where I'm looking over every single item, trying to decide whether I keep it or not, or whether I'm going to wear it. And now I can free up more space by shoving like all of the paid stuff, because you can go onto their store and just like buy cosmetic shit. I can shove all that cosmetics shit into this other storage that's like part of an archaic system. And I am so excited. I've actually been asking for this. I'm like, I wish they would just let you do. Finally. Now the next goal is to let us store relics in that motherfucker.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you can't store relics. You can't store final relics in the glamour dresser. And I have so many relics just sitting in my inventory because I can't do anything with them. This is also a big one. There's going to be eye level restrictions for Duty Roulette Alliance raid based off of your level. This means that we're not going to always get Crystal fucking Tower anymore. So there's item level for your gear. So like the higher level you go, the higher level your item level is. Destiny players should recognize what this is because it works the same way as light level. So what people were doing is they were putting on lower level gear so that when they did this Alliance raid roulette, which runs through all of the Alliance raids that you have unlocked, they would, even though they were at level 90, they would put on like level 50 gear so that they would only get the Realm Reborn Alliance raid. And that meant if you were just queuing up, normally you had a massive chance of getting the ARR Alliance raid. And I have been playing this game since 2015. I do not want Crystal Tower anymore. I'm fucking tired of Crystal Tower. I don't want to join Crystal Tower. I will take a 30-minute penalty and leave.
And the real reason this is happening is Alliance raids are 24-person content.
Yep.
The roulettes are made functionally so that people can go through this content without having to grab 23 other people to do it with them.
So trying to do Stormblood, trying to do Shadowbringers, even just trying to do the Endwalker ones. It's very rare you get them. The queues take forever.
Right. So this will address that issue.
It means if you are queuing up for Alliance raids on a level 90 class, you have to have level 90 gear. and then they will slot you wherever they need to put a body, because it just shoves you wherever people need, like wherever the most people are needed. It doesn't mean you're going to end up in 90 content all the time. It just means that it will be distributed more evenly instead of people all getting shoehorned into the Crystal Tower series, which is Realm Reborn. We'll be able to now sort our teleportation destinations by expansion, which is nice. We also get the new reward for obtaining all of the trial mounts. Justin, have you seen it? Because it looks like it's from Final Fantasy IV.
I haven't seen it yet. I've seen nothing from 6.5.
Do you want to see it? Because like it looks like it looks to me like it's from Final Fantasy IV. The free trial is expanded to include Stormblood.
Oh, so that's permanent now.
6.5, it's permanent.
Sensation. Just in time for you Xbox players.
Yes. They also were promoting, they have another mount and some emotes, and that they have like on sale specifically for FanFest. And those will be on sale until August 16th PDT, and those are the car with the motorcycle with the sidecar with Alpha in it. By the way, that mount does not scale, and seeing all the races on it is hysterical. What else? Is there anything else? Yeah, that's like most of the Final Fantasy. That's all the Final Fantasy information.
You did it.
I did it. I went through the thing. Here you go, Justin. Let me send you this. This is the mount. Please tell, like, I'm not hallucinating. That's from 4, right?
That is from 4.
Okay,
thank you. One of the bonus bosses from 4.
Thank you. I was like, I know I cannot remember where this is from, but it looks like it's from 4. So yeah, it was great. I know like that there were a lot of folks at FanFest. Almost everybody I know who went caught COVID.
My favorite bit is that you bring these things up when I'm like, oh, cool, we're almost at time. Let's start winding it down. And you're like, nah, it was a super spreader. Just throwing that out there. Good night, everybody.
I'm just okay. I'm in a flare up and I'm feeling a little extra bitter. Because it turns out the reason even though I had the opportunity to go, and I had like there were people were willing to pull resources together so I would also go and have a good time. But my reason for not going was just like COVID, and right. It turns out I was right.
Well, yeah, it's like
I'm a little bitter.
I mean, they didn't take care of themselves, and unfortunately, it was proved disastrous. Remember, folks, big stacks still gotta fly with the mask on, travel with the mask on, big stacks with the masks on.
Also, now this is a little bit funnier. I mean, not for the people who went, but just because in chaos in general. This sounds shady, and I didn't mean it this way. A giant chunk of the airlines canceled the flights.
Out of town or into town?
Yes.
Oh, so people were just kind of like stuffed into tighter spaces for longer.
People got stranded. Ooh. And of course the airlines were like, and for like the exiting out, like people just got stuck in Vegas too. The airlines were also like, we're not refunding anybody. And it's like, okay, well, they're going to refund people. They're just saying that they're not going to refund people, but you know that those refunds are happening. But in the airlines are still dysfunctional. Also, there's going to be I'm pretty sure there's going to be a strike with American Airlines.
Well, I mean,
I have a play the music conversation for you.
Play it. Yes. Hello.
So we can end the show here. Good night, everybody.
Thank you guys for listening. And have a pleasant day.